mean, or does that maybe mean?
Well, it means we're playing better. I mean, that helps. I don't really look into that kind of stuff all that often anyway. Just a record, or you just try to just really keep your blinders on over the course of the season. We don't talk about it as a team. It's just it's tangible, because if you look over the course of the last 10 games, we're playing a lot better, and no coincidence that coincides with gaining 5 appearances and 13 innings back from one of our best pitchers that returned. So roles are starting to fall into place like they should on the staff, and we're gaining our confidence not by what our record is, but just how well we've played. And obviously a game like Tuesday's game, you can gain a lot from that, and just shows just how these guys are continuing to fight and battle, even though we've been majorly tested this year.
I think you've identified that West Coast trip as a big turning point maybe for the offense in some ways. Could you describe that a little bit? Is that just sort of a generalized improvement, or were there a lot of individual sort of tweaks and things that went in?
Yeah, I think it was a general team approach change and just mindset change. I think first you had to change the mindset to change the approach, and the guys were, it was pretty much a rock bottom moment offensively. I mean, I kind of laid out the numbers for the group of hitters of like, hey, this is where we're at. I mean, and it wasn't pretty. It was, bottom of the barrel in Division I baseball. You get that kind of true eye opener there. It's like, all right, we know we got to do something different. So mindset first, and then approach, and then honestly, not a whole lot of like mechanical stuff. I mean, there's guys that we continuously are working with on some of that stuff, but I would say majority is approach wise, and we've taken a different approach to how we've run the offense too since then. I mean, it's been, we didn't have any sack hits until the Pepperdine game, and that was that West Coast trip, and now you can see the bunting is a bigger part of our offense. So, I would say it starts with a mindset there.
Were you confident that at some point Swanson would pick up what he's done?
Yeah, I mean, I was, and that's he's got a track record, and that's what you get with older guys, is you get track records, and I stuck with him for the first 20 or so games, and he just wasn't. And I said, look, man, I don't want you to go into the season looking over your shoulder. You're the guy. And then it kind of got to the point where it's like, all right, we need to switch some things up, and just stay with it. And so he got back in there against the lefties. That was kind of the main thing. And, but you see the Wednesday at-bats were starting to go better. The batting practice was going better. Once he kind of got settled into where he's at mechanically now, I mean, mechanics for Gabe, I mean, he's a guy that likes to tinker a little bit. So I can tell when he's in the right spot mechanically, he stops thinking. And he got to that point a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, I was hopeful that would come around, and when the weather warms up, Gabe usually does too.
What's kind of been your message for Walsh going in tomorrow to get back into the groove?
Well, I think he just, part of it is the usage of his changeup. He's been more reliant on the slider here, and the location of his fastball hasn't been as good the last couple outings. But the changeup has to be there for him. I mean, it's just a pitch. It's his best pitch. It's the pitch that he gets the most ground balls with. It's the pitch that kind of got him on the map for us, and we've really just he just hasn't had great feel for it, but that's a pitch that he just has to keep going to. So that's kind of been his focus this week in the bullpen, and his conversations with Coach Shoulders and myself is just get that changeup going. Fastball looks better when he does, and he's using both sides of the plate when he does that. I mean, I just think it's been a little too much one side of the plate for him, and when he's got the changeup, it's slider end to righties, changeup away, and then he can move the fastball on both sides of the plate.
Will, with the calendar flipping to May, this is the final month of the regular season, does it feel any different?
It's warmer. Maybe not today quite as warm. Yeah, it does. I mean, you kind of get that, the light at the end of the tunnel now. I mean, we've had, like I said, our blinders are still on, but I mean, we're in the thick of it. And again, we kept getting tested with different things, and the schedule just never let up for us. And we got to go earn it here in the month of May. But also very optimistic. A large group of guys that are playing their best baseball right now played their best baseball this time last year. So yeah, those are things that we can draw on.
Is there anybody unavailable this weekend for you guys? is the first time in almost 45 years they have a new head coach. Is there anything that you can tell that's different about that program with the new league?
I just think that their plan. I think they have an identity offensively this year. It seems to be. I mean, they've scored so many bases, which is a little different for them. And they've scored runs in bunches. They've gotten after some starters, some pretty good starters in our league. And they've kind of been back and forth. Right? I mean, they haven't had a whole lot of long stretches of not playing well. Obviously, they're inside the top 100 RPI wise, so they've gotten some wins in there, and they're right there, in the standings. So I think they're improved, honestly.
Will Broderick, have you gotten from him what you had expected to? This being his first year on the team.
Broderick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've put him in some really tough situations. And anytime you're a high leverage reliever, you're either going to be the goat or the hero. There's not a whole lot in between, and he's built for that. He's the same guy every day, and that's why we have him in that spot, because he wants the ball every day too, and that's important. So he shows up with a great attitude every day. He's one of our hardest workers, and he's a guy that we all have a ton of confidence in the biggest situations.
From a technical standpoint, what does he do well?
Well, he's got an incredible breaking ball, and it's sometimes it looks like a split finger fastball, sometimes it looks like a curveball, sometimes it looks like a true slider. It's all the same pitch, and he throws it 80+% of the time. So the scouting report is there now, and he still gets swing and miss on it, and he also throws 96 miles an hour with a kind of a fastball that has a cut action to it. So it's a tough combination for a hitter. It's not real comfortable in the box.
Everyone's doing well these last 10 games, but Rumbaugh's on base is better than 500. Thoughts on him?
Yeah, I think, again, he's a guy that is a veteran, but because of all his injury past, he is just not, he's never played summer ball really. He's never had a full season of baseball. So he's kind of just been learning on the fly. And one of the only goals I gave him before the season was to be 1-to-1, walk, hit by pitch to strikeout. Like, I think if you do that, then your numbers are going to be where you want them to be. You'll stop chasing, certain stats. And if you can just get 1-to-1 with a walk to strikeout or freebies to strikeout, then you'll have a great year for us. And it started off pretty well. Then I think the numbers started to creep in a little bit, and then I think just he's really been dialed in on helping the team. I think he's really settled into the 2-hole in the lineup too. I think that has been a big boost for him and for us, honestly. He's just seeing it well, and he's a guy. We hit him lead off because he has a great eye, and he has a kind of an ability to draw the walk when he needs to. But I'm happy that he's really cut down on the punch outs. It means he's really seeing it.
Well, you mentioned the schedule not having any let up. It's pretty nice to be home for back-to-back weekends and get some
right
here as well.
Yeah, and that's a welcome sight for us. I mean, the way the season started, and the long road trips and the road midweeks and some of those things. Yeah, it's nice to play at home when the weather's warm, the crowds are bigger.